we need to talk about Ford City.
On the southwest side of Chicago lies a vast parcel of land at 76th Street and Cicero, the site of Ford City Mall. But this is more than a shopping center. It is layered with industrial history, racial geography, and the unfolding story of urban change in black and brown neighborhoods. Today, we dig into its past, the proposed future, and ask who stands to gain and who stands to lose. The land on which Ford City stands was once the Dodge Chicago Aircraft Engine Plant, a huge wartime complex built beginning in 1942, covering some 82 acres with millions of square feet of factory floor. Thousands of workers, many of them new residents in the area, produced engines for the B-29 bomber. After the war, the site went through various changes, hosting different manufacturers, including a period with Tucker and then Ford Motor Company. Eventually, in 1961, the complex was sold to developer Harry F. Chaddick, who transformed it into a shopping center. The mall opened in 1965 under the name Ford City. This development occurred during a time when suburban-style malls were dominating retail culture. Ford City was located in an inner-city, working-class neighborhood characterized by industrial jobs and changing demographics. Over recent decades, Ford City Mall has struggled. Anchor stores closed as retail chains collapsed. Reports show the mall has been in decline for years and significant vacancies and disinvestment are present. Meanwhile, the local neighborhood continues to bear the legacy of deindustrialization, fewer manufacturing jobs, lower wage service jobs, fewer pathways to economic mobility. For black and brown communities, especially on Chicago's southwest side, this kind of shift is familiar, from what some call good jobs we could raise families on to low-wage, unstable employment with little upward mobility. So what about the future? Well, in 2025, a dramatic proposal emerged. Under a roughly $150 million plan filed with the zoning committee, almost all of Ford City's mall would be replaced by a 66-acre warehouse distribution campus. Derrick Curtis, the alderman representing the 18th Ward, has publicly supported it, asserting that the conversion would bring permanent long-term jobs and raise quote-unquote home and property values, increase tax revenue for the city, and put the property back on the tax roll. At face value, this kind of redevelopment seems like proactive economic strategy. Repurpose a declining retail site into industrial logistics use, generate jobs, boost tax base. But as many redevelopment projects, the devil is in the details. What kind of jobs? For whom? What are the consequences for the surrounding community, such as infrastructure, traffic, displacement, wage levels? And crucially, does this really serve the local black and brown workforce or serve other stakeholders? Alderman Curtis insists that turning Ford City into a massive warehouse and industrial zone will raise property values and benefit the community. But history, especially Chicago's history, tells a very different story. Because when you look at the last 80 years of development patterns in black and brown neighborhoods, one truth becomes painfully obvious. Industrial zoning does not raise land value, it depresses it. Always has and always will. This isn't opinion. It's the architecture of redlining, and that's an objective historical fact. For decades, black and Latino communities were pushed into neighborhoods surrounding rail yards, factories, slaughterhouses, warehouses, and trucking corridors. Real estate covenants and FHA maps labeled these places as hazardous, declining, unsuitable for investment. Why? Because industrial land use drives property values down, not up. Banks wouldn't lend, developers wouldn't build, local businesses struggled, commercial corridors decayed. The message was clear. Industry comes in and everything else moves out. That was the logic of segregation, and it created a pattern you can still see today. Industry contributes to noise, contributes to truck traffic, contributes to pollution, contributes to deinvestment, and contributes to falling property values. Alderman Curtis is trying to sell the same model that destroyed neighborhoods from Inglewood to South Lawndale to Roseland, but calling it economic development. I am embarking and reimagining Ford City Mall into something not as an industrial space, but into a convention center, a regional destination that serves not just the 18th Ward, but Midway Airport, Burbank, Oak Lawn, Chicago Ridge, and Bedford Park. Not another warehouse complex, not another trucking corridor, but a real economic engine. At the center of this proposal is the Ford City Convention Center, a multi-use facility capable of hosting trade shows, tournaments, expos, cultural events, concerts, and conferences. A convention center does what warehouses never can. It draws visitors, it generates tourism dollars, it creates union jobs, it stimulates restaurants, hotels, and small businesses, and it raises land value, wealth displacement, or industrial pollution. This is the type of high-impact development the South Side has been denied for generations. Moving on to the outdoor mall's east and west wing, we get two crucial zones in the convention center. We get walkable retail corridors supporting local businesses, restaurants, nightlife, boutique shops, barbershops and salons, and cultural storefronts. A complete reversal of the current trend of boarded up stores. Moving on to the parking garages, there are two small parking garages and one large multi-level parking garage for convention traffic specifically. Instead of using giant flat zones of asphalt used for parking, this land has been reutilized for businesses, parks, and housing. Going forward to the hotel and green space, there you see Ford City Park, which is to pay homage to the original founding of what this area used to be and to give green space. There's also a hotel to accommodate for guests going to the convention or for midway travelers. And on the eastern side of the proposal are new redeveloped apartments, a skate park, and a revitalized business strip. And on the furthest side, you can see Daly College Extended and a community farm which promotes food security, youth gardening programs, senior gardening programs, and sustainability for everyone in the 18th Ward. My proposal addresses the grievances of the Southwest Side and of the 18th Ward. One being noise pollution. No diesel trucks, controlled truck routing, and no extended warehouse buildings to add on to the burden of traffic and truck noise pollution. 2. Street decay and infrastructure neglect. Streets are rebuilt for tourism and business traffic. There are sidewalk expansions, dedicated bike and pedestrian planning, and new lighting and streetscape improvements along 76th and 77th Street. And 3. The lack of green spaces. The creation of Ford City Park addresses this. Multiple pocket parks around housing, community farming, and landscaping and pedestrian corridors. 4. Lack of business support. This is addressed with 2 outdoor malls designed specifically for local entrepreneurs, restaurant corridors, event-driven foot traffic, and subsidized storefront program potential. 5. Decades of economic stagnation. This is addressed with a convention center that anchors long-term middle-class job growth, hotels and malls that generate sustainable tax base, and tourism energy spreads across the entire Southwest Side. 6. The absence of use spaces. This is addressed with a skate park, outdoor plazas, youth employment and programming tied to daily college. 7. Food insecurity and community health. How this is addressed was with community farms, farmers market potential, and a walkable design. 8. Lack of educational pipelines and job training. How is this addressed? This is addressed with daily college's extension to support local careers such as hospitality, culinary, business, arts, logistics, education. And number 9, pollution, asthma, and truck exhaust. How is this addressed? By not having more warehouses. Ashburn, Scottsdale, Ford City, Wrightwood have all reached their industrial capacity for industry. And so, no more warehouses are to be made. No increased diesel traffic as a result of this, reduced industrial zoning and cleaner land use. 10. Redlining and depressed property value. This is directly addressed by the convention center itself, its parks, the retail districts, mixed income housing, which will raise land value the right way by building community wealth, not by converting our neighborhoods into industrial sacrifice zones. For the first time in decades, the Southwest Side has a plan that isn't based on low-wage labor, pollution, industrial traffic, or political complacency. This is a plan to uplift the community, have regional opportunity, and restoring the dignity of the 18th Ward. This proposal directly answers the grievances that residents have shouted for decades, while the industrial warehouse plan ignores every single one of them. Ford City Plaza isn't just another redevelopment vision, it's a statement. A statement that says the Southwest Side deserves the same quality, investment, and imagination as the North Side of Chicago and downtown. Down in the description of the video will be a petition, not organized by me, but by another community member and leader in the 18th Ward, to say no to the current plan that is being pushed for Ford City Mall. Let's make our communities better.